time, we'd like to invite our father of the bride up to our head table for our welcome toast.
Thank you, Kenny. Well, I gotta tell you, I am a little pissed, okay? Because Jesse said, Dad, you only have an hour for these opening comments. No, they're going to kill the mic at 2.5 minutes. Don't worry, Liz. Yeah. So Patty and I want to thank everybody for joining us here in beautiful Newport and sharing in Andy and Jesse's wedding today. Special thanks to Penny and Pete for a great night last night at the Newport Vineyards. And special thanks to Uncle George for performing a touching ceremony this afternoon. So Jesse and Andy have so many great friends, and tonight we welcome friends from Norwell, Westboro, Tampa, and Southie. An awesome family from all over. No matter where they go or what they do, Jesse and Andy have fun, and tonight will be no exception. So a little story will tell you all you need to know about Jessica Ann Davies. Not yet, Andy. Jesse was 6 years old, Emily was 3, and Joey hadn't arrived yet when we were moving into our new house in Hanover. And at the end of a long move-in day, Patty and I couldn't find Jesse anywhere. So Patty just glanced out the window, and there's Jessie standing in the middle of Old Farm Road, waving her hands in the air and yelling, "I'm Jessie Davies! Will somebody come out and play with me?" So, a little later tonight when she's out on the dance floor calling for friends, join her, please. What's hard to believe? Does that day seem like just yesterday? In some ways, Jesse, it feels like you've been planning this day for your whole life. And can you believe it? It's actually here. Whether it's standing up in front of your elementary school and belting out an NSYNC solo, or driving your college process and leading yourself to Tampa, or even now using your design gift to become an art director, Jesse, you're strong and independent. But more than that, you bring fun to everything you do. Andrew Bauer. Rick, as he's called amongst his friends. I don't even know why. Andrew, Bauer, Rick. So as many of you know, Andy's joined us on our February trip to St. John for the past few years. And this last year was extra special, because on that trip, on Valentine's Day, Andy buried a treasure chest in the sand on Trunk Bay, and his engagement ring was in it. And when Jessie found it, yes, she said yes, and the whole beach cheered. But Andy topped that off that day with his own personal mission for our trip, to lead us on a hike. Yes, a hike, right. It was not margaritas on the beach, but a hike. It was 100 degrees, and Andy had done all his research and selected the highest peak on St. John for us to climb that day. So we stumbled and sweated our way to the top. When we finally got there, we were amazed at a stunning 360-degree view. And Andy said, "Wait, I've got an idea. Pull out the selfie stick." Yeah, so we dragged the selfie stick on this hike. And he lined us up one behind the other. Patty, then me, then Emma, then Wendy, then Joe and Jesse and Andy. And with that breathtaking backdrop of the Caribbean behind us, we took a priceless picture. And that picture's out on the table as you head outside tonight. And that's Andy. He pushes us beyond what any of us thought was possible to have an unforgettable time. So here we are at Belmare, on top of the world again. And we are truly in the presence of love. You might call it the Bower of Love. It's a very special love where Jesse and Andy have fun wherever they go and whatever they do. whether the room is filled with squawking seagulls or friends and family. So that's why this room is filled with such great friends. They met in Tampa and fell in love. And whether it's battling in Scrabble or karaoke or apples to apples, they're always having fun and making life fun for those around us. So let's raise a glass to Mr. and Mrs. Andrew Bauer. Here's to wishing you. Thank you. Thank you. Here's to wishing you both a lifelong romance. Here's to wishing you both a lifelong romance filled with special moments that you can remember together. Tender times where you may share a tear, once-in-a-lifetime thrills that you can experience together, and more of those infectious laughs that you always give to one another. So thank you so much, everyone, for sharing in this night. Enjoy your dinner and get your dancing shoes on.
And how about a big round of applause for our father, the bride, for doing a good job. Our maid of honor and our best man to our head table for our toasts. We're going to hand the mic over to our maid of honor first.
Thank you. All right. Start. Just. Thank you. I just want to start with a quick shout out to this amazing group of bridesmaids that we have here today. They've been so helpful throughout every step of the way in planning this wedding. Thanks to them, we had an amazing bachelorette party in Austin, Texas, back in May. Each of these girls worked so hard to make sure Jesse had an amazing time, and I think it's safe to say that's an understatement. From the pedaling bike tour to the boat ride around Lake Austin, these ladies planned a fun-filled weekend that we will always remember. And like Robert used to tell us, pedal, bitches. It's no surprise that Jesse's bridal party is a group of kick-ass, hilarious ladies. My sister has always been the life of the party. She's been such a fun-loving girl since we were kids. Whether it was playing fat cop in the basement, dressing up baby Joey like a girl, complete with nail polish and a flower tiara, or playing pranks on her friend Liz. Jesse's always known how to have a good time. Her zest for life and sense of humor has always made her pretty popular, and I'm so happy to see all the people she's made laugh here today, from childhood all the way through college and beyond. I've always wanted to be like my big sister. As kids, I was always her sidekick, and as we got older, I tried to tag along probably a bit more than she wanted. She always had the newest songs downloaded before they became popular, rocked whatever new style was in, even figured out how to watch MTV, even though mom and dad had the parental controls locked on that channel. She left quite a legacy at Norwell High School. When I was a freshman, most teachers looked at me with a mix of horror and laughter when they read the attendance sheet and realized there was another Davies girl headed their way. In all seriousness, though, she did form great relationships at NHS with students, teachers, principals even. But she was itching for something bigger and better than the small town of Norwell. When Jesse headed off to the University of Tampa, the Davies household definitely got a lot quieter, and I really missed having my sister around. I remember times when I was struggling in high school, and I would talk to Jesse on the phone, and she would assure me that everything was going to be okay. and I had so much to look forward to with college coming up in a couple years. Of course, Jesse formed a big group of friends right away at UT, and soon enough, Andy became part of that group. As soon as I met him, I could tell how happy Andy made Jesse. Just hanging out with them, you could tell how much fun they had together and how much they cared for each other. Over the years, Andy became like a big brother to me. We always had a blast hanging out, even if it was just the three of us. Like when I wiped out so hard outside by the shame shed. and then watched that awful Robert Pattinson movie.
Oh my God.
We've shared so many laughs together, and I know Jesse and Andy will keep laughing together for the rest of their lives. No matter what, I can always count on Jessie for a good time. Even through difficult times, she never lost her fun-loving spirit. I've always admired her strength and independence, and today is no different. To my big sister, I couldn't be happier to be here in this gorgeous place, celebrating the big day you've always dreamed of. You and Andy deserve all the happiness in the world, and I know you'll lead a fun-loving life together. Andy, you've always been my big bro, but now it's official. Welcome to the family. To the beautiful couple, raise a glass. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Thank you. That was great. Uh-oh.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. Before I get started, I just want you guys all to know you're probably going to hear some names in my speech and tonight in general that you might not recognize. We're probably going to call Andy everything from Rick to Ricky to Richard to Sandy to Randy to Randall. Just know that's Andy. Andy, we've probably known each other about 20 or so years now. I had the pleasure of playing baseball with Andy for every year in my Little League career. But I was probably about, 8, I think, when the first team we played together. And I'm sitting there at practice, me and Scott, just getting ready to kick things off, and in comes this guy. Spiked hair, frosted tips. Smile, literally, he's running into practice, literally smiles ear to ear, and I'm like, oh, this guy looks like a good ball player. He's going to help us out. Little did I know, one, how good of a baseball player he'd end up being, but two, how good of friends we'd end up becoming. We had a lot of great times together growing up between Westboro News, the Gen 1X burial, a couple parties here and there. There's one thing, I remember, Penny, we might have lied to you a little bit. We're driving down Ruggles Street one day, and for whatever reason, I'm just yelling, Randy Lauer, Randy Lauer, Randy Lauer, and I'm just kicking the windshield of Black Betty, and it just, all of a sudden, it just spider webs. And yeah, we definitely told you a rock hit the windshield. But yeah, that was me, so I apologize. Looking back on it, I should probably be a little alarmed. Andy wasn't like, dude, what the hell? He just laughing his ass off. And, we're going down the biggest hill in Westboro when he can't even see, and he's just laughing, which is great. But I think my favorite story from high school, senior year, I don't know, it must have been either spring break, or we might have actually been done, whatever. We had an 11:30 a.m. game, and Andy's supposed to pitch. Andy's supposed to pitch, and when Andy pitched, we usually won. He's a great pitcher. So the whole team's, we're out in the field, we're starting to warm up, and there's no Andy. And, I'm looking around, I'm like, he must be in the locker room getting ready. A couple minutes later, he's still not there. Coach hated me. He strolls up to me, and he's like, hey, Ruhl, where's Bauer? I don't know. He's like, we'll find him. Mind you, this is 2008. It's not, 2017 where I can just pull up my phone, find my friends. Oh, there he is. So I'm like, okay, well, I start calling him. No answer. I start calling Penny. No answer. Probably gave her a heart. They called like 4 times. She finally calls me back, and I don't even say hello. I'm just like, where's Andy? And she's like, well, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know. He's not at the field. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, well, hey, is there any way I can get in your house? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, well, good. I'll let you know. So I get in my car. I fly up to his house. Sure enough, there's his car sitting in the driveway. So I'm looking in the windows, no sign of him. Ringing the doorbell, pounding on the door, there's nothing. So my next move is I'm like, well, this is just straight out of like, your high school love story. I'm just going to start throwing pebbles at his window. Girl rolls down the window, professor's love, except I'm just humming tennis balls at his window, being like, dude, we got a game, let's go. Lucky enough, he actually woke up. We get down to the field. He didn't end up pitching that day.
Wasn't allowed to.
No, he was on the bench for a while. He was in the doghouse. We decided to go to college together, which was an awesome decision. We said, hey, let's room together freshman year. Great decision. Early on, Andy met Jesse, and it had its pros and cons. Andy was never there. I had a suite to myself. Con being, when Andy would come back to the room, I'd find things like half-eaten chocolate snack packs just laying on the floor. But when Andy and Jesse first met that first night, I was like, oh yeah, these two could be a good match together. Yeah, of course they could have something. I don't think I truly realized how good of a match they were until a couple months later. They decided, hey, we'd like to have a good time. Let's have a contest. As you can tell, that was a fun night for all of us in Tampa. But it was the two of them and a cheap bottle of vodka. And, I'm walking home that night and I'm like, these two really have something. And I think my good friend Kevin McCorney, you'd probably agree with me, right, buddy? But Jesse, I have to say thank you so much for taking such great care of my best friend for all these years. You're an amazing person. You're smart. You're funny. You love to have a good time, and you two are such a perfect match together. It's been awesome watching the two of you, your relationship grow. It's an absolute honor to be up here with you. I'm so happy for you. I can't wait to see what the future holds. And on that note, I'd like to propose a cheers to these two. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers, buddy. You nailed it.
Love you, buddy. Love you, too.
That's beautiful.
Love you.
And ladies and gentlemen, how about one more time a big round of applause for our Maid of Honor and our best man for doing a great job. Great speakers. I hope you enjoyed